So, of course, we had 9/11. Um, we had uh, basically a nat terror, but that was like a national crisis. But it was it hit New York. You know what I mean? It didn't necessarily hit a lot of other places. Philly got hit, or outside of Philadelphia. DC got hit. Of course, with the planes coming down, but it wasn't like a lockdown and per se like this. You know what I'm saying? Where we're back down to quarantine and so forth. So this is very interesting, very interesting. So but you know, Allah is the best of all planners. And if you keep your faith in Allah, the truth that they can really truly whatever unfolds out of this doesn't circumvent Allah's universal plan. you know. So it doesn't matter what it is, that we face, but also it's also good to be prepared. We're not on that scale of spiritual uh, ascension where, we can bypass any event that comes through and it doesn't matter, there have been, and then you never know, there might be some walking on the earth, some high level spiritual people, what I'm saying? This doesn't even affect at all. But praise Allah, we're gonna move forward, opening up the meeting with the Moorish American prayer. So everyone face the east if you can, or face your heart. And then with 2 on the right, 5 on the left. You say Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. It was Holy Prophet, Joali. Amen. Now the reading of the constitutional bylaws, divine constitutional bylaws, Salvation, Allah, Unity, the Moorish Science Temple of America. The divine constitutional bylaws, Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and Chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. It is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest. Because on Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father, God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Love, true peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being Moorish American, you are part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. The organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws of the Constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, color folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the God, the prophet. He ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabit the northwest and the southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and partial of all lifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful husband. You must support your wife, children. Wife, you must obey your husband. Take care of the children. Look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of lifting act. Become a part of lifting the following man. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his father, Allah. Noble Drew Ali founded the Moorish American prayer. Allah, Father Universe, Father Love, Truth, Peace, Freedom, and Justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen. Moorish Science Temple America, Home Office, Noble Drew Ali, Chicago, Illinois. U.S.A. Islam. I want to look at this divine constitution and bylaws and see if I can actually share it. I'm gonna open my camera up real quick. And so y'all can see. I don't have one in front of me. Okay. I want to bring attention to certain things because basically on Facebook, social media, you have a lot of brothers and sisters who identify as Moors or Moors, and they're scrutinizing the government or they don't want to be part. They're not. This is the part of time where they're saying they're not, corporate citizens, this and that. I get all that. We get all that. We understand corporate citizenship. X, Y, and Z. We understand that. But at the same time, people understand the functionality of the United States. That it functions through corporations. When it's dealing with collection, when it's dealing with different departments, these are corporations that they either made these corporations, or they contracted with someone who takes on the appeal to do the work that the government should have done. So it's like almost like a third party, in a sense. You know what I mean? But at the same time, the United States of America is not a corporation. It's not based off a corporation. It is still a government. It's still a nation. So when we deal with Act 4. Act 4 says all members must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government. Because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and partial of the government and must live the life accordingly. You notice he doesn't specifically mention or say United States. And there's one reason why. These divine constitutional bylaws are not just here for Moorish Americans in America. This transcontinental, this is actually for Moors who may domicile or live in another country. That you're going to have to obey the laws of that said country while you're there. Not to be adverse to the laws, but being harmonious. And you find that in a lot of, find that in Christianity and the Bible, you find that in the Koran. That, that you don't obstruct the laws, you don't basically go against, what laws are set. As long as they stay within the confines of your faith. And your faith is not put into compromise. Islam. So Act 5, when it says the said government, they mean basically the government which is mentioned in Act 4. That you're part and partial. That you're part of the government, not only you're part, but partial to it. That means you're favored amongst them because of who you are, Islam. So I also want to turn to Act 6. And I'm not going to read the whole part of Act 6, but I want y'all to think about what's going on now. Thinking about what's going on now, with not just the coronavirus, but the government, maybe the stock market, Bill Gates and others who have stepped down from their corporate positions, their high positions of power. I want you to think about the Pope, because the Pope caught it. Yeah, Pope Francis caught the virus. That's way back. A lot of people didn't pick up on that. But he caught it right after he came and confessed that the Catholic Church was guilty of using nuns as sex slaves. He said that, and he came out and confessed that. So a lot of these another high Catholic priest had just got found guilty of pedophilia. So a lot, like Pope Francis, like under his term, a lot of things are being exposed in the Catholic Church. So now he caught it. All of a sudden, after that, he fell sick. So I want y'all, I'm going to read this. Think about that. Keep things in mind as I read this. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. That we are teaching our people their nationality and divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial to this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live in the nations of the earth. Paul. Okay. Now remember, I said keep in mind those events, and also add in the thought of our campaign. With the census. We're basically telling people to proclaim their well, not their nationality, but at least their identity, which will lead to their nationality. Islam. So this is a new era of time. There's a shift in power going on, and I'm gonna go into it later in a minute when we read today's chapter, chapter 14, and then more shall look around. So when you look at basically what's going on, and you compare and you size it up with this, it's telling you that there's a new era of time, and that now is pinnacle. All this is coming about during the time of the census, when they're asking you to self-identify. How do you self-identify? The way I look now, and you see my face, you see my skin color, the way the rules of the census, I can identify as whomever I want to identify. That's the basic scale. Individually, they can't tell me what I should put down. I can put down whatever I need to put, or what I feel that I relate to. Some people got it mixed up and think you can check one. You can check multiple. You can check all those boxes. If you feel that you're all those, every single last one of those type of people, and or races or classifications, then you can put that. I know some people want to put African American, Hispanic, and then variation of this, that, and that, because they feel like they're connected, from what they were told or what they know of, within their family. So, but for the most part, this is a golden gate opportunity that's open. And mind you, the time that this is coming about. Okay? Mind you, the time this is coming about. Everything is pulling out this time. You got the census jumping on. Okay? You got this coronavirus. You got the stock market is getting hit. You got the shift of power with these head leaders. This is also the presidential campaign. Basically on the Democrat side, I know it's really just Bernie and Biden, right now. So you have all these different things and shifting in energy. Kobe just pass. So it's a whole, the gate of the universe is open, and a lot of things are being shifted. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at this correlates to what's going on. Exactly. And it's like, if you read it, it's almost like Prophet Noble Drawley is speaking to us right now. That there's a time to take action. It's a time to push. We're not on the streets now because of the quarantine and the curfew, but at the same time, when you're out in the streets or you're out and about, this is a golden time to actually push this. Not only that, it's all time for you and individually and us collectively to fill the census out correctly in the way we need to do. Okay? Because as it says this, and I want to point this out too. We are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians. Okay, I want to stop there. He implants that phrase again, a part and a partial, to this said government. And that you're not, or we are not, Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians. Why? If I stay within the confines of these titles, I'm not a part and a partial. Islam. I'm not a part of the government. I took myself out of the go. This is why we can get so far. Cory Booker, all these individuals who sit in Congress but still don't have a part. Still don't have a part as a collective, as a people. We don't have a part. Individually, one person may get up, but none of them can really carry the interest and the full weight of our concerns to the White House, to the government, because we have not collectively come together and identify this in under the right title, Islam. So move forward. I just want y'all to basically get, try to, ponder that. Alhamdulillah, y'all can. The magnitude of the words that the prophet put down and how it transcends time. And even areas. Like I said, the reason why he doesn't really put government, the U.S. government, because that particular, this particular document, or this law, or these laws are not for just brothers, because you knew brothers and sisters not just going to be in here in the United States of America, but you're going to have brothers and sisters in Cuba, which they did. You got brothers and sisters in Mexico, which he did. We have interest. The more this movement in itself has interest abroad, even in the UK. And I can say I work on or I monitor I help monitor the Facebook page for the Moorish Moslem Mission America, and we have an interest in from the Congo. Now, I believe that person actually he said he or she, I'm not clear, actually stated that they had a family member in New Jersey who was part of a temple or whatever they wanted to join. So, this one thing we get a lot of confusion, because some people reach out to us thinking that it's that particular temple that they had joined under a different administration, and don't realize you're talking to, this administration, or the original administration, which you were talking to another portion, that broke off. A lot of people don't realize that they have joined a portion of someone who broke off from the Moorish Moslem Mission. Not necessarily the Moorish Moslem Mission. So what? Inshallah, things come together, things come full circle. We don't push the will, force the will. We allow people to come into their own and understanding. So let's move forward and work out the material I want to share with y'all. And I praise Allah, I have a laptop now. I usually do this on my phone. So, and praise Allah for phones that have that function. So from the Holy Koran. And I'm not going to labor the Moors long. Let's take a reading of the take a reading out of, or what we're going to do, actually, we'll start this. Well, I'm going to do this. I'm going to read it. I'm going to read the questionnaire. And I want everyone to basically kind of listen and see and kind of quiz yourself. If you know it. And because what we're going to do is, in the coming week, we'll I'll make it my duty to go through the questionnaire, because these have vital development points. This is what you call a catechism. Catechism, okay? CAT or no, CATEChism. Catechism. Catechism is basically a specific writing, and the way it's written is that when you read it, it begins to vibrate in your brain. They kind of shift your thoughts in a way where you should be thinking. And some things, or the way that, I could say that the Moors or the brothers and sisters from the time of the prophet was in the flesh, they needed something like a catechism because their thoughts were only on one big thing. So when the prophet was able to develop this catechism, which we call the Koran questions for the Moorish American, saying it was able to get people to think differently, to get them to really view life and view certain points. When they hear this, when they read this, they'll be able to think differently, and they'll be able to perceive certain concepts, certain ideas, certain words from a different aspect, a more in-depth aspect. And what he did with this, he actually shattered the dogma of religion with this. Because you're going to think different. Because at that time, people think of God as in the sky. Or God is up, heaven is somewhere unreachable. But the prophet put it in, basically broke it down within 4 questions. And I'm going to break it down for you as I go along. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. We'll do the first page, inshallah. Okay? Quran questions for Moorish children. Number 1, who made you? Allah, right? It's a common question, right? You can ask anybody. If I go to anyone with a basic faith, and I say, who made you? You're like, God, right? But towards Americans, our title or our attribute that we use to designate for our creator as Allah. So we say, who made you? Allah. Right? That right there. Because when they're coming into the temple at that time, they were thinking mainly from a Christian perspective. So they had to get you to think, not just say God. And we wanted you to start speaking the name of Allah. We wanted the people to start using Allah instead of saying God. Okay? Because God was already trapped up within the Christian paradigm. Usually when you say God to someone out about within our communities, they're connecting God to a Christian paradigm. I put 85% of the time. Of course, that might vary when you go to a university. And some, you get a lot more open people in different places, more open people. But out here, our families and so forth, unless you grew up in a Muslim family or so forth, or Buddhist family, majority of times when you ask this question, who made you? And they say God, and they answer God, their concept is going to connect with your Christianity. So you had to pierce it by saying, who made you? Answer, Allah. Who is Allah? Allah is the Father of the universe. to say Allah's Father Universe. Father. Hey, hold on. Because it said Allah doesn't father anything in the Quran. Right? What does it mean by saying Father? It's a function, it's an attribute. Personalizing, making it, he's giving it impersonal perspective of the universe and creation and Allah. That there's no separation between really the creation and its creator. But the essence, when a man gives of himself, right? There's things that come out of the man into the woman to create life. This is a universal principle. Even though we know it biologically and whatever within the human body, it's a universal principle of creation that the essence of what life is comes from the creator. That some people call man's, semen, his essence comes out. Because semen in itself is a form of blood. It's a form of blood. It carries the vital minerals with it in order to nurture the sperm cells that's within it. So also, so it can nurture the egg as well. When it goes inside and it's not toxic. If it's too toxic, the woman rejects it. But it has to have the right minerals so the woman can receive the semen, and then therefore receive the sperm cell. But from the very part is the essence of the man that comes out. So this action is a universal action, a universal principle. Father of the universe. It's not saying that the universe in itself or everything that you see within the universe is the same, should be worthy of worship. No, we're not saying that. We're saying that our very soul of existence is connected to Allah. And without Allah, it wouldn't exist. Question 3. Can we see him? No. That's a good question. Because that question pierces through idolatry, right? People idol worshiping, praying down the cross, kissing the feet of this one, that one, burning incense in front of this one and that one. Can we see him? No. And that's also a principle of that everyone basically can agree that you can't see God. Where's the nearest place we can be? In the heart. This takes that theory of God being somewhere outside in space or somewhere in the clouds and making it impersonal, boom, in the heart. So you won't have to look up. You see Christians, because I used to do it. So I know, because I was up there with them. You know what I mean? And at the actuality of it is that he was right. He was right here the whole time. I'm thinking that he's coming down. He has to pierce through dimension and all that could speak to me. Nah. Right here. I have to pierce through dimensions of my consciousness to hear Islam. But it's never far. It's right there. Who is Noble Drew Ali? He is Allah's prophet. What is a prophet? Prophet is a thought of Allah manifested in flesh. The idea is this, Morris. We can attach all these different levels of law claims, you know what I'm saying, these different understandings of what a prophet is, or what this one is, or how this one is, and we can adhere to it, or not to discredit anything. But from the essence, the pure essence of what a prophet is, prophet is a thought of Allah manifest in flesh. We get caught up on the manifest instead of the thought. Islam, we get caught up in the manifest instead of the thought. We focus on the manifest in flesh. Instead of knowing that it's just a thought. The idea, the archetypal idea of a prophet, of a messenger coming down, comes from Allah. And is manifest in flesh, in this matter. How it's manifest, under what circumstances it's manifest, that's where we get technical and we start to, but the reality of it, from very part of it, the very core part, is the thought of Allah. Islam. What is the duty of the prophet? Save nations from the wrath of Allah. That's right. Who was the founder of the Moorish Science Temple of America? Noble Drew Ali. What year was the Moorish Science Temple of America founded? 1913 AD. Where? Book, New Jersey. Now, for many people, they will say 1913, the prophet was in the old Canaanite temple, which the old Canaanite temple was actually a gathering of men, or men who were actually Odd Fellows. Okay, it wasn't necessarily an Odd Fellow designated gathering, but they were trying to create their own group at this time. Okay. So what the prophet was saying is this: the basis and the foundation of this movement came out of that time of 1913 AD, because he was actually teaching at that time. This is when he began to teach, his particular message. That we were, descendant Canaanites and so forth, that we were Moors, X, Y, Z. Now, from there, many people would think, because I remember years ago, I was at a Drew Ali celebration in West Philly, and yeah, all these different people there. Nature L Bay was there. Of course, I was under the Moor Empire, so I came representing Moor Empire, and there's a whole bunch of Moors, and I think it was Temple 11-1 at the time. It was just Temple 11 at the time. and they were hosting it, and it was a good gathering, a lot of kids there. Everybody spoke. Beautiful Taj was there. Um, Brother Taj was there. But I remember the first time I met Grand Chief Shakim himself, who was with under Bradshaw Bay. He's in Norton. And the first time I met him, he came as the Grand Chief of the Canaanite Temple. I was like, okay. I didn't say nothing about it. I was just like, okay, they came trying to resurrect the old Canaanite Temple because we didn't know. We didn't know what the old Canaanite Temple was. But now, through research and just, being humble, we have a letter, an interview of the old Canaanite Temple, of a last member of the old Canaanite Temple, and what you particularly described what that meeting or what that particular era was. And it wasn't necessarily a chartered temple, but what it was the beginnings of what they were trying to resurrect. Him and Brother Dixon. Old Ali was the head of it at first, okay? But he most likely got voted out because they didn't agree with what he was teaching. Dixon wanted to keep it Christian. So after that, Prophet found that he probably needed to move elsewhere, and then he did his sojourn to Chicago, Islam. So, needless to say, we'll move on. So you understand, basically, you have an understanding of what Canaanite Temple is. So it is the foundation. So that's why the Prophet said it was founded in 1913, because that's when he started. He started the movement. Okay, it wasn't called Moorish Temple America, but it was him moving in a sense. You got to understand how he's speaking. Where was Noble Drew Ali born? In the state of North Carolina in 1886. Now, he specifically says in the state of North Carolina. He didn't say in North Carolina. He said in the state of North Carolina, 1886. Okay? So 1886, you have to look at what considered the state of North Carolina. Now, some look at it and say, well, the birth certificate says Virginia. But the part of Virginia that he actually was born was actually part of North Carolina in 1886. It was part of North Carolina in 1886. I gotta get to specifics actually, but yeah, we're studying with another sheet. He actually broke that down. What is nationality? What is his nationality? Moorish American. What is your nationality? Moorish American. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. It's good to read when you study these questions. It's good to read them slow, so you begin to really pick up on everything that's in the question. Even though they're one sentences or two sentences long, you have to read them slow in order to begin to understand what is actually being said. Why are we Moorish Americans? Because we are descendants of Moroccans and born in America. Descendants of Moroccans. Here's a question you have to ask yourself. What is a Moroccan? What is a Moroccan? Now, some are stuck on the fact that that little strip on the corner of Africa is called Morocco. Here, let's pull it up. Islam. Let's pull it up, Morris. Yeah, you still talk. Yeah. That's the brother. That's the brother right there. All right. I don't know if this is the old one, because I did pick up some old ones. Let me see if I can get a newer one. Sorry, Morris. There we go, right here. You see this? This is an old map, but as you can see, it says Morocco. You got Algiers, you got Tripoli. It's old because there's no Tripoli. It's Liberia. I like Liberia. Libya. Pardon the body. Libya. Okay. You got Algiers. You got Morocco right here. So when people think of what they say, they're thinking this here. Okay. And then they're not considering that this here stretched all the way through here, had territories all the way through here. And not only this here had there, but this people from here and here came over to America, Islam, to escape persecution of the basically when they had the Inquisition, Islam. So when they had Inquisition, the Moors, they didn't just fled to Africa, but they fled over here. And this actually was the standing power at the time to help protect them. Islam. But this currently is not this power anymore. It lost its power. It's a nation state. It's fine, but it doesn't have the hold that it had. It's still sanctioned by France, even though it says it's freedom. When a lot of these African countries got their freedom in the mid 20th century, it wasn't freedom for like, oh no, it was like, okay, what we're gonna do, we're gonna pull back, and we're gonna run things from behind the curtain. You're gonna still be who you are, so everyone that can identify with you, but secretly, we're running the show, and it's out of the France. Why people in Morocco still speak French. See, language is consciousness. If I change the language, shift the consciousness. It's a question. Why countries like Morocco, Sierra Leone, Senegal, Mali still speak French, but teach French? Now we know all of a sudden it's a good thing to learn. We want to learn a different language, even the European language, because for the most part, they control much of the economy globally. But to make it a mandated learning, if you really want to flip the power, You can ban the language. South Africa, the Afrikaners knew that. The Dutch knew that. When they went into South Africa, they banned Zulu and all forms of native tongue to be taught, to be spoken. So what happened? What had to happen? They had to reinstate the Zulu, bring more pride, put more pride into it. They don't teach Afrikaners no more, especially with the new movement with the guy Molina gaining power, and they're pushing a lot of the Europeans out. Okay, but when we stick to the concept of Morocco, we can't think of what Morocco is today and say that was what the prophet was talking about. He's talking about imperial Morocco, the empire of Morocco, for the most part. And he's not even speaking of the empire of Morocco. Well, he's speaking about something we don't even know, possibly. He's getting us to think. Why are we Moorish American? Because we're descendants of Moroccans and born in America. For what purpose was the Moorish Scientific America founded? For uplifting a fallen man. And we know if you go further into the questionnaire, they explain what Morocco. They'll ask you what they talk about the Moabite, and they ask you what a modern name for a Moabite, which is Moroccan. And then it talks about how the Moabites, along with the Hittites, Canaanites, Amorites, sojourned. They found countries such as such, etc. They're telling you what type of Moroccan you are. You're not the newly come Moroccans that were like the result of the massive European slave trade when the Moors was trading and imparting or transporting Europeans into Africa. Yusuf al-Mansur himself had like, I don't know how many, like, he had like thousands of European slaves he put in there. You think they all, you don't think their bloodline is running across and then captives? When you read about the Barbary Wars prior to them signing the treaty, or just in those areas of Morocco, Tripoli, when they had the war with Tripoli, this is when the United States actually decided to form their naval, basically their navy, to fight Tripoli, to fight the pirates. The majority of the pirates were Moors. They put out these movies, the Pirates of the Caribbean. I don't realize the majority of the pirates are Moors. And the reason why piracy actually happened was because Moors were robbing European ships, taking European captives, and mainly selling them into the Islamic countries as servants. And this is what and not to bring the brother up, but he brilliantly broke it down. Brother Ta'afa even said this is why they actually put Moroccan and these particular areas of Northeast Africa as white. It's because the remaining remnants of Europeans that exist in North Africa. So they can protect them so they can get status when they come home. And it plays dual because when you identify as white, let's say, okay, we go with Moorish Americans, we follow the trend of identifying as white on the census. That won't necessarily change anything for us, but if anything, the detrimental part of it, it might boost more power and advancement for European communities. Because now they're going to receive, they're going to see that, oh, there's a, you know, the areas that we're putting white, they're not really going to say, oh, well, they're Moorish American. They're okay, they put in white, so they're going to find someone who's in their concept of where a white person is to represent our area. So your mayor, your congressman, and your aldermen and whoever, or those chose the Senate, and those things, and the people pushed to be on the electoral college, they're gonna look nothing like you, because you went ahead and put white. And not only that, the funds, they're not even gonna look to, I have to specifically bring funds to this particular area, or bundle the funds to this particular. If I put it outside or whatever, you know, they really wouldn't care because, oh, they're white. They're going to benefit from it anyway. Because there's one large white community and they're all going to share. That's why we have to be specific. You know what I'm saying? This is why in our strategy we put Asiatic. There's nowhere in the prophet's literature where he tells us to identify as white. He used that concept of white, where it says white means purity. White means purity. Purity means God. God means ruler of life. Okay. He says that in order to bring about understanding of what that status is. But he also breaks it down into further questions when he's saying, what title does Satan give himself? God. Ruler of the land. It's saying that this particular people posing themselves under the auspices of being God. Look at your religious art. Pictures of Jesus, pictures of God. In the 16th chapel. What do you see? You don't see Asiatic. Right? Look at the prophet. I seen a picture of Prophet Muhammad alayhi. When he was a child, he looks almost. Oh yeah, he looks like the lightest aircraft they put him. God, all the concepts under this paradigm have been whitewashed. And this is what the prophet was saying. Because he never said, you're white. You're white. See, Asiatic. Islam. Okay. See how deep these questions are? It's simple as this is why it's called a catechism. Because it catches you. It's supposed to catch your thought. You don't breeze through these. See, this is why people want to run off to different demonstrations. And they haven't even read these thoroughly. And especially when I'm about to go in chapter 14 with you. They haven't read these thoroughly. I didn't read these thoroughly. I came in, I saw this, oh, boom, boom, boom. Oh, I'm in the Sufism. I got it. I'm gonna go into this, and that. I'm a Moorish Mason. I'm getting the secrets. So this you gotta understand. This is a prophet. That's why he's able to put together 2 pamphlets. And this, put these together to teach us something. I always reference this movie, The Last Airbender. The Last Airbender was is a perfect example. What am I talking about? If you watch that movie, The Last Airbender, it's an adaptation, a movie adaptation of the Avatar cartoon on Nickelodeon, when the Fire Nation breaks into the Water Nation of the North, right? And it might be Water Nation of the South. I'm not sure. Can't remember. Okay, it breaks in, and it's the general, whomever, and his wazir, his assistant comes in, and they go into the secret chamber where the fish avatars or oracles, the oracles or whatever, are two fish swimming in a pond in the hidden chamber. And he's like, and the general looks at it, he's like, oh, how could they, the avatars of these, avatars, they were avatars. Why would they cloak themselves, or spirits, they call them the spirits, sorry, the Greek spirits. Why would the spirits cloak themselves in such minute, vulnerable creatures such as fish? And man, and the wazir, whoever, he says to teach man humility. Sorry, to teach man humility. It's the simplest things. You'll find the most potent stuff. Right here is the most potent stuff. You can write books, essays off of this, off of one line. It will set you up for study and research. Off of this. Islam. I don't mean to be on a tangent, Moors. I'm sorry. Forgive me. But we'll go into the read, and I know I'm not gonna leave y'all any longer, too long. So into the Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 14. Moorish Holy Quran, chapter 14. The ministry of John the Harbinger. John the Harbinger returns to Hebron, lives as a hermit in the wilds, visits Jerusalem, and speaks to the people. Islam. I'm going to read verse 1. It came to pass when John, son of Zachariah, and Elizabeth had finished all his studies in Egyptian schools, he returned to Hebron, where he abode for certain days. And then he sought the wilderness and made his home in David's cave, where many years before he was instructed by Egyptian sages. Some people called him the hermit of Engedi. Others say he is the wild man of the hills. He clothed himself with skins of the beasts. His food was carrots, honey, nuts, and fruit. When John was 30 years of age, he went into Jerusalem and into the marketplace. He sat in silence 7 days. Common people and the priests, the scribes, and the Pharisees came out in multitudes to see the silent hermit of the hills, but none were bold enough to ask him who he was. But when his silent task was done, he stood forth in the midst of all and said, "Behold the king." has come. Prophets told of him. The wise men long have looked for him. Prepare, O Israel, prepare to meet your king. That was all he said. And then he disappeared. And no one knew where he had gone. And there was great unrest of all Jerusalem. The rulers heard the story of the hermit of the hills, and they sent couriers forth to talk with him, that they might know about the coming king. They could find him not. And after certain days, he came again into the marketplace. All the city came to hear him speak. He said, be not disturbed. Your rulers of the state, the coming king is no antagonist. He seeks no place on an earthly throne. The eyes of men shall see it not, and none can enter but the pure in heart. Prepare, O Israel, prepare to meet your king. Again, the hermit disappeared. People strove to follow him, but he drew a veil about his form, and men could see him not. Jewish feast day came. Jerusalem was filled with Jews and proselytes from every part of Palestine. And John stood in the temple court and said, prepare, O Israel, prepare to meet your king. So you live in sin, the poor cry in your streets, you regard them not. Your neighbors, who are they? You have defrauded friends and foes alike. You worship Allah with voice and lip, your hearts are far away and set on gold. Your priests have bound upon the people burdens far too great to bear. You live in ease upon the hard-earned wages of the poor. Your lawyers, doctors, scribes are useless cumberers of the ground. They are but tumors on the body of the state. They toil not, neither do they spin, yet they consume the profits of your marts of trade. Your rulers are adulterers, extortioners, and thieves, regarding not the rights of man. The robbers ply their calling in the sacred hills. The holy temple you have sold to thieves. Their dens are in the sacred places set apart for prayer. Hear, hear, you people of Jerusalem, turn from your evil ways, or Allah will turn from you, and heathen from afar will come, and what is left of all your honor and your fame will pass in one short hour. Prepare, Jerusalem, prepare to meet the king. He said no more. He left the court, and no one saw him go. The priests, the doctors, and the scribes were all enraged. They sought for John, intent to do him harm. They found him not. Islam was this particular passage, or chapter, can be looked at from the idea that John the Baptist is paving the way for Jesus. I want you to pay attention to certain details when you read this chapter. When you embark on this chapter, you will notice that he says the king. He keeps saying king, but he never gives a name. He never gives a name. Islam. He says the king several times, but he never gives a name. He gives a description, He says he's not seeking earthly throne. What's he seeking? Let's back up. John the Baptist returns, he goes home, he studies, he goes back to the cave where he started off at. He begins to do his daily ritual fasting, or his basically life ritual fasting, because that's what he was. To the point where they called him the hermit of Engedi. We knew that John the Baptist is a harbinger, right? What's a harbinger? A harbinger is someone what? Pays the way, ushers in Islam. What is he ushering? What's the more significant, or what is the larger picture of this particular passage we need to focus on, or what we can look at? What can we pull from this? Let's look at what an Engedi is. Islam. Engedi is a place. It's a place. What else? I'm gonna show you. Show you for a minute. So, y'all still viewing this? That. So, there we go. I'm going to show you more than I can say. I want y'all to notice something. Take note. Go to Wikipedia. Engedi, literally spring of the kid, young goat. It's an oasis in a nature reserve in Israel, located west of the Dead Sea near Masada and Koran, in the Qumran caves. Engedi was listed in 2016 as one of the most popular nature sites in the country. That's nice. Here's a little picture of it. Let me go up here. So I'm change this news out. You can see a picture of it. Like fall, spring. See that? Very nice. We don't want to know about that. I mean, it's nice, you know, get your money up over there, visit. But that's not what we really want to know about. When you look at Engedi, again, or they say kid, but not just kid as a child, but kid as a goat. And that's the spring. He says the hermit of Engedi. He's ushering something. When you think of a goat, what are you thinking of? Speaking of a goat, what? What sign is a goat? What sign is a goat? Let's look up. Does anybody know what sign a goat is? Y'all can talk back. Islam?
Aries.
Aries.
Islam.
Aries? Could be. They say it's a ram.
Well,
huh?
yeah, Aries is, yeah, same, I guess same family.
Nah, Islam. Gold is a Capricorn, bro.
Yeah, it's a Capricorn. That's right. Same family though, brother Dan. That's true. Same family. So look at something. Jesus what books or what book did the prophet pull to create or so forth our Moorish Holy Quran? They say. Anybody know?
Islam. And Son D.R. Grant,
What else?
the Aquarian Gospel.
Aquarian
Gospel.
Aquarian Gospel. Aquarian Gospel. Right? The Aquarian Gospel. Stop. It said the Aquarian Gospel. So if you think about it, the Aquarian Gospel is about who? Obvious. It's about Jesus. The goat, Aquarian or Capricorn, ushers in Aquarius, that age. Is ushering. Huh?
Is that the age of Emmanuel? Is Jesus Emmanuel?
Yeah, God be with us, yes. Because, okay, we know that within the ages, the zodiac goes in reverse. And it starts, basically, it'll go, in reverse in a sense. So if you take it and you go in reverse, let me pull it up. Pull it up so we all can see and show. All right, let's do this. Go here. So yeah. All right, let's see. Like this wheel here. Okay, so let's say find Capricorn. Usually when it comes to man, we read in this direction. when it's the sun, and we're talking about ages, go this direction. What this particular text is basically doing is not talking about ages of Aquarius, but they're talking about the Aquarius concept in you. See, the sun and time may go through our planet and universe might pass through these particular cycles. Okay, given basically giving opportunity or basically allowing particular things to vibrate differently or vibrate more, inshallah. Okay, in a way. But at the same time, within you, you have these concepts. You have these particular energies, these particular things that are marked, particular things that are characteristics or attributes within your psyche and your development that are marked by these zodiac signs. It's just that within your chart, when you study your chart, it's just, only a few may stand out. 3 of them stand out as your basically your tended makeup. Okay. Your tendencies, the makeup of your, basically what it is. So you might, you might be Aries, mixed with, with a Taurus, and then, you might be a Leo, blah, blah, basically that. With John the Baptist, with John, concept of being rigid, eating berries, standing in the hills, committed to his purpose, right, is a sign of how one person is developing themselves to prepare themselves for their king or for their Aquarius, for the outpouring, for the flowing of knowledge. You know what the problem happened, boys? We got a lot of us, we have information, but we're not prepared for it. We haven't necessarily structured ourselves in discipline or whatever to order to really utilize and capitalize off what we know. Instead, we stay in this set mindset, but we haven't grown because we haven't disciplined. We haven't shifted things in our lifestyle. Islam. See, the harbinger is paving the way. We have to take on the character of the harbinger and pave the way for what to come. To break through layers of consciousness that we develop through experience, through our habits, in order to utilize it so the knowledge can come in and be a part of us. And that's where the king comes in. Okay, let's break down these characteristics. Okay, so we know in Getty, is the goat. I also wrote down some concepts. If you want to talk about goat, it also says the eye. In the Bible, in Getty means eye. Your vision. Seeing your potential, seeing what can come. So if you look up at Getty, you'll find different signs. You have give me one more. Sure. Okay. Moving forward, I want y'all to understand the concept of what a hermit is. Y'all know that a hermit withdraws from society, withdraws from his basically his everyday doings in order to reach specific spiritual level, be in depth to get themselves back in tune. But usually a hermit, it lives like that. That's the hermit lives. That's someone who lives in seclusion, doesn't come out, is not connected with everything that's around, that's mundane. And that's a life that John the Baptist lived, or had to live in order to prepare himself. Now I'm not, but it's funny how the combination comes, because when he says in the passage, the king, prepare yourself for the king. Who's the king? So we gotta look at what the concept of the king is. Okay. Now I'm gonna come from Rumi's Tarot. This is a book actually. It came with cards too. I got cards with it. But we'll read the concept of a king, and because it has a breakdown of each card, but also the meaning of it. We'll for king, we'll supplement king for emperor. Okay. Upon the low throne of power, emperor is seated, crowned, bearing in his hand a scepter tipped with the symbol of Mars from Arabian magical lore, symbolizing the principle of spiritual sovereignty and power. The Sultan of all hearts is waiting expectantly for the heart to fill with light. Rumi sings, Sultan of all hearts. Where's the closest place to meet Allah? In your heart. This emperor is a figure of Iskander, known to Western world as Alexander the Great, whose title was Dahab Odol Quanayan, the two horned, as he bore the ram's horns full reputation. So it's gonna go through. I'm gonna keep going. And Sufism, the perfected man who has realized spiritual power and knowledge, is regarded as the crown of the king, Taj al-Malik, whose crowns creation as the viceregent of God upon earth. As Ibn Arabi says, he is to be the universe what the bezel is to the seal. The bezel whereupon is graven the signature of the king seals on his treasures. Okay. But then it has some meanings. Authority, willpower, executive ability, governance, active realization, dominance, leadership, dynamism, potency, stability, achievement. Okay. The Malik Amuk, that's the basically who Allah is. That's another attribute of Allah. But Taj Amali, the crown, the king. Here comes the king. Here comes the Malik. Right? He's coming, you have to prepare for it. This is what John the Baptist is saying. The hermit. The hermit paves the way spiritually for the king. For your ascension, your harbinger has to come. Your harbinger hours, your harbinger days, your harbinger routines have to take forth. Your hermit life. Not saying you don't. I don't want y'all to lock yourselves in your room and you closet. No. What I'm saying is that you have to begin to analyze and begin to pull away from things that will pull you away from Allah. I'm not even saying y'all, myself as well. So there's a lot of things I need to pull away too as well. So I'm not definitely we're all in this journey together. And let's look up what a hermit is. Because that's very important. And I had my finger on it too. And I have it. We will find it. Hermit. Here we go. And I'm gonna read this one part. Now, when you get to in this book, this is page 9 or page 89. It talks about what the hermit is. They already correlate the hermit to be a Tahuti, to mean Tahuti. Okay. The nature of who Tahuti is. Tahuti was someone who was vetted into his work. A Capricorn is vetted into their work. Prophet Nudrali embodied this part. The words of David Baliel, when my first time at the convention, I had time to sit down when we had a break. And I asked Baliel, I said, he was Supreme Grand Sheik at the time. I said, Supreme Grand Sheik, how long did the prophet stay in his chambers? He said, no, the prophet would sleep in his chambers, his private chambers. That means he was steady in his studies. This is probably why the situation unfolded with, Sister Pearl drew out, even though we knew history. Because the prophet wasn't necessarily all lovey-dovey. He was about his work. He was in his chambers, completely enmeshed in what he had to do. Because he had to learn, he had to find out, he had to be in tune. In order to lead such a movement, there ain't no time the lolly-dolly anyway. He had to be dedicated. So he stayed in his chambers. And he was able to unfold he was able, but other ideas and direction of where to go was beginning to unfold in front of him. Prophet wasn't a person who knew everything. No prophet knows everything. But the prophets are in tune, everything gets revealed. So the harbinger, the hermit, you live in a hermit life, represents what a Capricorn is, leading you to your Aquarius self. It's your Capricorn self or your dedicated hermit self that leads you to your Aquarian self or your king. because the king ushers is basically representing that high point perfected. It's representing that consciousness that comes in or becomes manifest. It doesn't come in, it's already in you, but it becomes manifested in your understanding of who you are. It's when things are balanced out. Now your higher self is now in governing position instead of your lower self. Allah has now you're the vestige, Allah's vestige within yourself. Now, let's go for it. Some have seen Khwaja Khazar. Khwaja Khazar is basically Akhid. Khwaja Khazar is the ancient Egyptian god, tall hermit, guide and master of the secret wisdom through sacred throne, hermetic green stone, par excellence was the emerald. As the papyrus Salir says, Thoth is a well of sweet water for a man thirsting in the desert. The well remains sealed in the talkative. It opens for the silence. When it wasn't time for John the Baptist to speak, he was silent. Paul, shake the camera. When it wasn't time for him to speak, he was silent. When it was time for him to speak, he spoke. When he was done speaking, he was silent. This chapter right here actually goes through the process, because what does he do? Let me point something out. When you read later on in the chapter, as you read, at the party, when they had the party or the gathering, he stood up and spoke, but he went into more detail. He had to break down what they were doing. Now, let's not look at it from an outward. Can we break down the things that we weren't doing? Can we break down our flaws of character and point them out? We have to get them right. Because the king is coming. In order to have a place, in order to have a nature for your body to embody that, this king conscious, this Aquarian conscious, you have to prepare yourself. So we're going to go into that in a minute. We'll go into that part. I'm jumping. Apologies. Pardon about it. But you read the concepts of what a king is. I wrote down some other concepts that I found. It says the king is executive faculty in every man. It's the executive faculty of every man whose life is guided, governed, and directed by spirit. So it's that executive faculty, but you're guided by the spirit. You're guided by Allah. The laws, societal norms, belief systems. Now, this is where we're going to get into what's going on with today. How do you relate this? Well, you know what? Let's pause that real quick concept real quick, because I'm going to end with that. Well, I'm going to end with that. So you understand basically the relationship. You understand that the name of Jesus is not even mentioned, because what the message of this passage is trying to get to the reader is that the king is something that you're not seeing. Read this in code. You're not going to be able to see the king. Man is not going to be able to see the king, because the king is within. It's a concept. It's a consciousness that we reach. Islam. So let's go to verse 20, and he begins to call out things. So you live in sin, the poor cry in your streets, and you regard them not. So he's saying, okay, you're disregarding the poor. Your neighbors, who are they? You have defrauded friends and foes alike. You worship Allah with your voice and lip. Your hearts are far away and set on gold. Your priests are bound upon the people, burdens far too great to bear. They live in ease upon the hard-earned wages of the poor. Reminds me of the video. If y'all see the video with the Asiatic brother from Florida, down in Florida, and he's speaking out against the people at their council meeting. You're talking about you had the mayor shut off the power during a global crisis, and then you made the people pay to get probably their last earned check. This was almost crying at that part because it hurt. It really hurt because we're all living this, and it really hurt. It really touched me when he said that you had them pay, which could have been their last check they could get in order for the lights to turn on. The spirit of John the Baptist, that harbinger spirit, was in him. And he had to tell them. They didn't want to hear it. He went back to the Republican. Now, I wouldn't apologize. That was God moving. That's why I'm moving in. There was nothing wrong with it. You can't bottle when that sincerity and truth is coming through, you can't bottle that up. You can try to be as politically correct, as diplomatic as possible, which is fine. But when it moves, it moves. It's not. So let's move forward. Your lawyers and doctors and scribes are useless cumberers of the ground. They are but tumors on the body of the state. They don't do nothing. When the tumor is, what is a tumor? A tumor is cancerous. It depletes. It doesn't nourish. It's not doing its job. It has to get cut off. The rulers are adulterers, extortioners, and thieves, regarding not the rights of man. The robbers ply their calling in the sacred hills and holy temple you have sold to thieves. The dens are in the sacred places set apart for prayer. Let's make it personal. What is our personal place of prayer? Brother Talik, do you substitute your time of prayer and consecration with other things? Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. See, this is like a miniature laws of my, you know what I'm saying? The 42 confessions. It's like a miniature 42 confession, but it's breaking down in dialogue. But if you peel back what this said, these are things that you can connect to yourself and see where you're at if you're doing any of these things. To your family members, friends, or whatever, the job you have, or you sitting in your job, sucking up money and not replenishing the money. Are you not replenishing the money? How many times we borrow from something we don't put back? Well, our intention is to put it back. If you have intention to put it back, you know, Allah bless you, put it back. You know, we're not like, how many times we just, you know, and don't really care about putting it back. That's what they're talking about. You keep taking. Become a tumor. You're not doing your job. You gotta think about the movement. Are we becoming tumors? As the Moorish science, have the officials of the Moorish science of America become tumors? Have we lost our purpose? Have we lost our functionality? Are we nurturing the people in our and you know, amongst us within our membership. You know, Islam. And it goes here. Here. This is verse 28. You people of Jerusalem will turn from your evil ways, or Allah will turn from you. And heathen from afar will come. But what is left of all your honor and your fame will pass in one short hour. Prepare, Jerusalem, prepare to meet your king. It's almost like a wake-up call. When you say prepare for the kingdom is not means what we're trying to understand, what the concept is this wake up, be your higher self. Islam, quit all this. You're better than this. Prepare yourself. Islam. He said no more. It's verse 30. He left the court and no one saw him. But everyone, priests, doctors, scribes, all enraged. They sought for John, intent to do him harm. They found him not. So he left. Right. I said no more. After he said his piece, he was done. That's what a hermit does. God spoke on to silence. It's his main conversation. Silence. This is so in time for what, if you take this, now you twist it, not twist it, I would say, we'll angle it in a way now it becomes operative in a sense. And we use it to determine what's going on now. Holy month of Ramadan is upon us. That's the time that our hermit aspects will become, we're going to have to tap into our hermit aspects. If we're on social media a lot, we might have to take a break a little bit. Not posting a lot. Not having conversations a lot. If you're jumping in threads, and you know, I'm notorious for it. I'm about to fall back. I'm posting your comments and your thoughts. During Ramadan, that's the time to keep inwardly. No one needs to know your struggles but you and Allah. This is the time. Prophet Muhammad had the nature of the hermit. The hermit nature, as they saying, is the nature of Tahudi. Tahudi is connected to Al-Qadr. Al-Qadr is known in the Lord Islam as the green one. Melchizedek. And those who know in Islam, Prophet Muhammad's favorite color Prophet Muhammad's favorite color is what? Does anyone know? Well, what did they say Prophet Muhammad's color? Does anybody know? Islam? Anyone know what Prophet Muhammad's favorite color is, or his color that he draws close to?
Islam Sheikh.
Yes, Islam.
I believe it was green.
Green, yes. Islam. Thank you, brother. Green. 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 Color green is related to Al-Qadr. See the connection? embodying particular principles, moving forward from particular principles. This is why, I encouraged you guys a week or two ago to try to do a meat fast. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to get you guys in the direction. You know what I'm saying? I'm still on it. I slipped up. I had some turkey bacon yesterday. Stuff, brother. I had some turkey bacon. I admit, that's it. But that was just that once. I'm back on it. You know what I mean? A couple slices, but I'm back on it. I was offered turkey bacon today. Nope, not taking it. I gotta stay on this meat fast. Now I gotta incorporate some vegetables and some fruits. I think I got the no chicken, no beef down. Now I gotta put some fruits and vegetables, a lot more fruits and vegetables. But I'm activating my hermit, or I'm preparing the way for something. Preparing the way for clear thoughts, more energy. You know what I'm saying? Hopefully, Allah will bless. Will allow me to take part in that within myself. So, but these are the things that in order to get to a specific goal, you have to chip away. You have to structure stuff and restructure stuff. Okay, the hermit. One concept is seclusion. Now we're going into, let's look at our era of time. Now, we're on quarantine. Ain't no time. It's seclusion. It's just the nature is being manifest and played out. All this coronavirus and all these things, people, the elderly dropping dead, all these people dropping dead, is a sign of things changing. The old is being pushed back. Unfortunately, I don't want to use that as an example because I know some people have, people in their families and whatnot. But we can't emotionalize these things. Sometimes as more scientists, we have to look at things like if someone passes form, we have to look at the nature of what's going on, and we have to look at it. Okay, where are we now? We're moving into Aries. We already moved into the Aries. We just left Pisces. Okay, what's going on in conjunction? I saw a guy named Brother Roz Ben. He was in Philly. He does with crystals and stuff like that. But he does astrology. He actually put that this is like the Great Conjunction. And what the heck is a Great Conjunction? Well, let's look it up. I didn't know what a Great Conjunction was. I was like, conjunction? What is that? What is a Great Conjunction? This is 2020. Great Conjunction 2020. Okay. I wish Sister Douglas L was on. I'm gonna get her on. She's really astute in astral science. Known as the Great Conjunction, the cyclical conjunction between Jupiter and Saturn that occurs every 20 years has been the preeminent method of demarcating historical eras in traditional astrology. I want you to listen to that and focus on, keep in mind what we're going through. When Jupiter and Saturn come together, there's both an intensity of old forms dying as well as fertility of new growth beginning to take shape. In the past century, their cycle has aligned with the transition in between decades with the conjunctions and oppositions between Jupiter and Saturn, marking the start of each decade. For example, there was Jupiter and Saturn conjunction in 1980, an opposition in 1990, a conjunction in 2000, and opposition in 2010. Jupiter and Saturn will form their next conjunction December 21st of 2020 in the first degree of Aquarius. So most of 2020 will take place during the end of their cycle. there will be an atmosphere of anticipation building during the year of beginning on the precipice of new era, while simultaneously old issues will resurface in need of resolution. That's key. Islam, can y'all hear me?
Islam, just
Okay.
breaking up just a little bit. You're not breaking up now.
Okay. Praise the Lord. Okay. We pretty much about to end in a minute. Okay. So you can see astrologically these things are actually coming into play, but also you can see it being played out in history before our eyes. You got all these different things that are occurring for a reason. And as they know, they have astrologers. They have these people on deck, so they know when to put things in play. They know to shift the power. That coronavirus, when it hit China, it damaged their economy because they couldn't they couldn't export. They're a major export country. Alibaba, AliExpress, just two. I'm just going to because they have everything. Like you can order basically practically anything. Like you want an ice cream maker, you want an ice cream truck, you want you want a print press, you want this, you want that. They have it. They have it on deck. They have you want toys made, you can go Alibaba. They'll specifically make the toy for you. If you find a distributor or a manufacturer, a distributor to give it to you, that's what I'm gonna tell you this. Go watch, if you got Netflix, go watch the Toys That Made Us and watch the episode with Transformers. None of the Transformers was American made. I'm gonna say it again. None of the Transformers were American made. It all came over from China. They went to a toy convention. They went to China and they saw the toys. When they saw it, they said, okay, we're going to push these over here. We're just going to change the name. I got all these toys. I just need stories, background stories. So this is how we're going to push it here. And all the toys, every edition of Transformers came from China over Japan. Japan. But not just Japan, but China makes a lot of them too. China makes them. You can order them cheap. They just won't have the brand on them. So they crippled it, the economy that way. Now people are not wanting to get anything from the scare of this coronavirus. So the power shift. Talking to Solo earlier, we're talking about, you don't hear too much from Russia. Russia got it, but you don't hear too much about it. Italy got hit hard. People dropping. It's crazy in Italy. Why? What's going on with Italy? The Vatican's in Italy. I just told you the Pope got sick after he confessed that the Catholic Church and the priests were using the nuns for sex slaves. I ain't get that from I didn't get that from a conspiracy. That was actually a major news article. And then he got sick. Now Trump, he's at a standstill. He doesn't know what to do. Trump is the distraction. But prior to that, Trump was talking about earlier, he may take mention about putting back in rotation or circulation gold standard. Think about this passage, Morris. This passage is right on time. It's telling you how things get ushered in. Islam? Chaos has to happen. Old things have to die. We're being quarantined. We're being silenced and pushed into seclusion, a time of seclusion. The country's at a standstill. What are they ushering in? And whatever ushers in, doesn't necessarily it's going to happen right before our eyes. See, the problem is we're too cultivated by movies, Hollywood. We don't know that things is going to expand. They know how to put things up, set things up to triple. But things shift, they have to triple. It takes time, period of time. People at masjids are shut down. I shared a video about from Sheikh Imran Hussein, who talks about, and that video is just a part of a lecture he did a while ago, years ago, and he was talking about them shutting down the Hajj and possibly coming up with a global epidemic of some type of virus, a global epidemic where they have to shut down or stop now. You don't hear too much about Israel. But prior to this, Israel was trying to, I forgot exactly, but Israel was doing something with Palestine. It was still at war. They really were trying to overtake, you know what I'm saying? And I think they actually was getting into Iran, if I can remember. Before this outbreak. You got to ask yourselves, the virus in itself is only supposed to last a week in a person if they get proper treatment. And you don't need a vaccination to kill this. All you need is rest, warm liquids, and nourishment. And you can knock it out within 7 days. So why aren't we seeing a lot of recovery? I'm not saying don't protect yourself. Wear your gloves, use your sanitizer and all that, regardless. You know what I mean? But at the same time, what else? Connect it with this chapter 14. What's taking place? They're ushering something new. Also, this is a time for us to usher something new. Quarantine, the coronavirus, that's really a distraction. Now it's putting you inside to manifest something. You're in now. Now it's time for you to focus on something different. You may not be able to go to work. You may not be able to do other things. But what else can you do? What else can you create? You can create something. During the hours of 5 a.m. to 8 p.m., what can you do? Some people might need help. Can you deliver something? Can you do something for people? Can you clean something for them to get and just ask for money? Yeah, I'll help sanitize. Yeah, whatever. Just for a couple of hours. Or what can you do to as far as anything personal or spiritual? This is the time to actually go in. To usher in something new later on. So what it's saying, with combining with astrology, you have to put the steps in. Praise Allah. Yeah, back to man. Oh, Morris. God, man. We're here. All these, man. I got 2 boxes. So, Morris, let me know who needs them. I can send them to you within the week. We are going to be, if y'all can hear me, we are going to try to take a donation of we're going to try to take a donation. There's a sister who actually might need the help financially. She got 2 kids. She's out of work. It's hard for her to get groceries. So I'm gonna let y'all know further. Just be on standby. If y'all can get 5, 10, doesn't matter. And to help her get some groceries and everything. I'm gonna give her a little bit of money. And she lives not too far. She lives in Canada. This is a family, so it's just her and her daughters. So there's a lot of other people. I know amongst us, we're straight. If you and I also, I'm gonna put it out there too. If you guys, any boys, just let us know. We could try to put something together to help you out. You know what I'm saying? Because we need to start doing that amongst ourselves, and then even other people that we know. You know, so that might be help. You know what I'm saying? Um, so also a lot of things are on slowdown because of the virus. But what I'm planning on doing, last week we attended. We were at Douglas L's meeting, which was good. But I was encouraged, and he has orientation meetings every Thursday. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to put together within the coming weeks for those who do not have their nationality card, who did not get their nationality card, and you're trying to join this more Science Temple America. We do have a module test. We do have a membership course. It's free, basically. Only thing you're really paying for is your first month due. So it's $17. $17. Okay, Islam. I'm going to try to put something together where we have it probably every Thursday, inshallah. Every Thursday or maybe every Tuesday. I gotta see. And then you can attend it once we have it. Or I'm gonna go through all the modules probably on this platform on Zoom. And from there, I will mail you all the modules to take. Okay. And then each module, after I go through each module, I will mail you the test. I will email you the test. Okay. When you take the test, send it back. You know what I'm saying? You'll just email it. If you got to print it, scan it, and then send it to me. And I'll grade your answers. Okay. And from there, if you pass all 6 modules, it depends on usually 5. I'll cut it down to 5. Pass the test and the modules, then we'll move forward with your application. I usually get the application after the 3rd module if you do good. You know what I'm saying? After you pass the 3rd module, I usually hand you the application. I mean, and then because I know basically you're going to get the 4th and the 5th, right? Because they're short modules, some of them, but the longest one, the longest one is the first one and 2nd. Okay, Islam. Any questions or concerns or anything? We do gotta have a business meeting soon about convention. I gotta get more clarity of what we're doing. How we gonna get there? I know, flights to Chicago are cheap, but not everybody's trying to take a flight. We can all fly it out there if you want, but I don't know. I think there'll be more bonding if we drive too, but who knows? But we got to start solidifying something very soon for convention. More, is any question or concerns? Oh, y'all can hear me. I'm clear. Something on my speaker. Any questions or concerns before we close out? Questions or concerns? Anything about the materials? I mean, about what I went over, the lesson.
Islam Sheikh, when is the census supposed to I know they're sending things out in the mail for the census, but when is the actual is the census underway right now?
Yeah, April 1st.
That's when it officially begins?
Yeah, technically. I mean, people are getting that stuff now.
When is it? How long is the census season?
Census season is basically, I said December. I think it's December. Yeah, December. So December.
So we still may have an opportunity, inshallah, is to get out on the street as a group and circulate the flyers. Or are you suggesting that we get them from you individually and just do what we can where we live?
Both. If you want to stack, like I said, if you want to stack and you think you can move it under these circumstances a little bit, let me know and I'll send you a stack.
Okay.
Okay.
Also, what is the real? This is not. I mean, I'm asking you a serious question right now. It's not a suspicious question, but as far as the dues go, they're 17 a month, and they're sent to the Supreme Grand Treasurer or
Yeah,
Secretary,
yeah, it's treasurer. I'll show
and
you.
it's due which day
10th,
of the month?
the 10th of
10th.
each month. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see this. You might be on your phone right now.
Yeah, I'm on the phone.
Okay. Well, I'll post this later.
Do we have a treasury for our mission, or is this the dues just go straight to the home office for the hand?
Dues go straight to the home office. We haven't really established a treasury for our mission, really, like a treasurer to keep it, to keep the mission. I mean, like keep the dues for the mission, or not the dues, but we haven't established a specific amount that we need to put in monthly, which we should. You know what I'm saying? For those who can see this, I'm going into national website. I'm going to locations. I'm dropping down to Jersey location. And you will scroll down to where it says donations. And you can donate right there. You put your name, brother so-and-so, email address, comment to say this is my monthly dues for so for the Moorish Moslem Mission 28. Then you hit donate button, and that should take you to the option of PayPal or so forth. Okay. So is that it? I want to say Islam, and I want to thank brother I would guess brother Sheikh Eric Rutherford Bay from Temple 11-1. He's on here, showing us some support. Praise Allah for him. And we'll me and you, brother, we'll be talking soon, hopefully, inshallah. So I'm gonna proceed to close out the meeting.
Islam, Sheikh.
Yes, sir.
I had the census paper came to where I stay at, right?
Yes, sir.
But it's not my apartment. So the person took the paper. There's only one paper came in, so they gonna fill it out. So how do I get the do I have to do it online? I'm gonna have to do it
Good
online.
question.
I can't get the paper.
You were staying there.
No, the way I'm staying at right now, the person is their apartment, so they like, cause they fill out the census too.
Yeah, they got to
They
fill
not
out.
they not Moors though, so they gonna put whatever they want to put. So now I'm gonna have to either do it online or how does that work for me?
That's a good question. Because that's a household, you staying there.
It got to be with the household, or I can't just do a census for myself. Like, well, because up here is telling you. See, this is the first time. This is the first time I ever did a census in my life. I know what it is. I learned that from y'all.
Yeah,
so
you can.
I know up here is telling us to go online and fill out the census. That's what it's telling us to do in New York. on
You can,
census.com.
yeah. They want to do it online, but say you want to do a paper form. So what you can do is you might have to call the local census bureau, right, and ask them to mail you another copy.
I should just, all right, then. I'll see if
Yeah.
I can do that.
Say I want to do a paper form though, too. To say
You
want
think
to
I could? You
huh?
think I could do it online, and there's some kind of way to print it out, or
If you,
probably?
there probably is a way if you can screenshot the it depends. If you can screenshot the screen, then do that way. But to be safe, try to see if you can mail out another form. The person you staying with, can you ask them if you can get the numbers off of the form, the phone number, and you can just call them, call the bureau, and just ask for it? I would do that and say, can I get another census form? They're gonna send
Yeah,
another one out if they don't. You know what I mean?
yeah, because this person, they might, they gonna put what I can't tell them what to put. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, you can't tell them what to put. You can only suggest. If they don't want
Right.
to put it, they can't. You don't gotta put it. So I understand what you're saying.
Mm. All right, I try to see if I can get it sent to me then.
All
Because I
right.
know up here, like I was telling you, they tell you to do it online, but I understand you saying you want us to get the copies of the paper.
Yeah, the paper copies for your record. So when you see, the thing is what you're going to do is you're going to put Nathaniel McCoy Bay, right, on the census. When they ask for your name, you're going to put Nathaniel McCoy Bay, and then in the racial category, you're going to put, as we said, non-Hispanic, no for Hispanic, Native American, Moor, other, check other, Asiatic, Moorish, right? Make a photocopy of that, and that'll be your record. So when you go to, the municipality, DMV with this record and say, this is how I self-identify, they try to get your instruments changed and all those type of things in your name. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, Islam.
I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna see how it works with matter of fact, solo. We're gonna see how it works out in Jersey if you can do yours, because what happens is, even though, well, technically, even if a person you staying with, right? They put their whatchamacallit, right? They put their name down or whatever, the way fill they out, right? Because it's sections. It's for every person who's living with you, right? So they can put as you someone who's not related living with you, boom, boom. You could tell them like, this is how I want to identify myself. And then you say, yo, let me get a photocopy of this, right? Let me get a photocopy and I'll give it back to you. I mean, you know what I mean? Or see if
So
you
that won't mess up their services or nothing like that. That's what they worried about too, like certain things. Well, all my mail and stuff come there right now, so I don't think that would mess up their services or nothing like that.
I don't think that.
Because all my mail come there anyway. You know what I'm saying?
I don't think you'll mess up their services and that. They ain't gonna do nothing. That's you. I mean, they're the head of the household. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not the head of the household.
Yeah. So for those who are not heads of the household, they see if they can they can fill that part out. If you can fill that part out yourself, and then, you know what I'm saying, make a copy for yourself. You know what I mean? Because that's the main key. You know what I mean?
So this is dealing with the head. So the census is done for the whole house. Just one application for everybody. I didn't know that. I thought each individual will do their own census. That's what I had thought.
Nah, it's actually it's actually a whole booklet. It's a whole booklet. Just like this.
Or they send you a whole booklet like that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then on the first page, it's for the household. It's for the head of the household. See?
Mm-hmm.
Then I gotta put who else is there. I put my son, I put his mom, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how they're going to be identified. Yeah, so see, all that. We got enough section for people. And then the other side, flip it over. This is the Spanish side. This is in Spanish. So the green part is for Spanish. Spanish. All right, Morris. Let's move to close out. Islam. Prophet warns all Muslims to be read in every meeting. I hereby inform all members that they must end all radical speeches while at home, in their homes, or on the streets. We are for peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your cards at Europeans. It causes confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Failure to obey these orders will be severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom. And when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. Any member or group of members who hold malicious feelings towards the temple or the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive the reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the law and land to them. All true Moors must obey the law laid down to them by the prophet. And if they lose confidence in the prophet, give up their card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and turn to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Ali. And if the prophet is not right, the temple is not right. The prophet sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace. Noble Ali. To be reclaimed at every meeting. Islam, I'm glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you all, and I desire for them to know the truth and divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim that I was a joke and unreal. But now since they have found out that the government officials in the nations of the earth, that this is the only sole foundation that all Asiatics must depend upon for their earthly salvation as American citizens. They are working every scheme that they can to disqualify me so they may take charge of the situation. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute to the movement and uplifting funds. The ones that pay their divine respects to me and the movement will be remembered. That is why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me, your prophet, and your divine Moorish movement. I need finance. I need it bad. Never before have I needed finance so badly as do I at present. so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy because of my fame and ability. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without I, the prophet, being here. It has been proven by my works, which I have performed in the past few years. Prophet of Islam. Islam, Islam, Islam. Want to close the meeting out? Prophet's prayer. Allah bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers, divine creed principles. This we ask in our holy name and seven only. Islam, war. Peace and love.
Peace and love. Peace and love.
Islam, peace and love.
Peace and love.